Glasgow's better.
Nah, Edinburgh is better.
I'm here in Glasgow.
And I'm in Edinburgh.
And today we're going to compare two giants of the museum world, the Kelvingrove
and the National Museum of Scotland.
In truth, both of these places are absolutely fantastic, so the rating's just for a bit of fun, but we'll compare on the following measures. The first thing to get out of the way is price, and both of these museums automatically get a 10 out of 10. They're absolutely free for general admission. There might be exhibitions on from time to time that you can pay for, but to get into the building itself and look at the main exhibits, it's always free. In terms of location, I've got to give the Kelvingrove an 8 out of 10. Sure, it's a wee bit further away from the centre. It took me about half an hour to walk here from Queen Street Station, but it's right in the edge of Kelvingrove Park. It looks like a really nice area, and there's loads of ways to get here as well.
Location, 9 out of 10. It's right in the heart of the city. I'm only knocking 1 point off because it's difficult to drive and park at the city centre. But you wait to see the views from the roof. Okay, I changed my mind. I'm giving it 1 extra point for the views up here. Look at that. It's one of the best views in Edinburgh and it's for free. So.
This has to be one of the most beautiful buildings in all of Glasgow. It just stands so proudly all on its own in this intricate red sandstone. It even mentions Edinburgh up there. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. The only reason I'm dropping a point is for the construction that's going on in the grounds just now, but once that's finished, it could well be a 10.
The building looks great, it's very impressive. It just needs a good wash. But it fits very well with surroundings. It's a beautiful architecture. There is a new extension at the back and not everybody likes it, but I don't mind it. In general, I'll give it 7 out of 10.
For wow factor, I kind of class that as the feeling you get when you walk inside the building, and this gets a massive wow, so it's definitely a 10 out of 10.
For the wow factor, 10 out of 10. Just look at this beautiful open space. It's amazing.
For the exhibits themselves, it's kind of hard and maybe a wee bit unfair to compare the two museums, because the Kelvingrove is an art gallery as well. Although here it's got a really nice feel and you definitely know you're in Glasgow, it's got a lot of Glasgow history here. It feels a wee bit light on actual exhibits, but the paintings more than make up for that. I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
When you walk in, the hall seems to be a bit airy and empty, but then if you keep walking, the rooms are full of stuff, and it's just so much that honestly you could spend hours in here. Look at that. It must be 8 out of 10.
Despite its grand architecture, I actually find this quite a cosy place to walk about. Lots of different areas to explore. For atmosphere, I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
The place is really bright, there's lots of daylight in here, spacious but with lots of stuff to see as well. Friendly atmosphere, 8 out of 10.
For fun factor at the Kelvingrove, I'm not so sure. I think it's more of a nice place to be rather than a fun place to be. There's a lot of kids here, but the adults seem to be enjoying it more. I'll give it a 5 out of 10.
This museum is super fun. There's so many visual and sound effects and so many interactive things you can play with. And there's lots of kids in here and they all seem to have a great time. Because of COVID, some things are not in use right now, and only because of that, I'll give it 8 out of 10.
So that's me finished at the Kelvingrove. For the how long did it take me to get bored rating, it was about an hour and a half. Now that's quite normal for me, so we'll call it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, so for the bored factor, I actually got bored a bit quicker than I expected. But I can't blame the museum. I think it's more... it's a bit generic for me. I would expect exhibitions to be a bit more focused, and here is kind of like a mix of everything. So I'm sure some people would love it, families would really like it and have a great time, but it seems like the audience is a bit younger, if you know what I mean. 6 out of 10, just because it's not really my favorite one.
The gift shop was okay, but it was just like a kind of high-end, high street gift shop. Nothing too exciting, 6 out of 10.
I don't really like souvenir shops, but I think this one is quite cool. It's big, there's lots of fun stuff for kids, soft toys, books, some jewelry, souvenirs from Edinburgh in general. I'll give it 8 out of 10.
The cafe, the service was amazing. It was like service in a proper restaurant. The food was tasty, not too expensive. That gets a 9 out of 10.
Broccoli soup. Honestly, I didn't like the soup at all. Thankfully there's another cafe upstairs, so I'll go and have a look before I'll give it a score. Okay, so I spent almost 12 quid in here and the food is just disappointing. I'm not really enjoying it. The presentation is quite sad. They only give you this kind of takeaway plates and containers, which are just quite bad. Flat spoons, so we can't even eat soup properly. The cake just looks sad and lonely on this massive empty plate. I'll give it 3 out of 10.
So that gives the Kelvingrove a final score of 80 out of 100. Very respectable. Time now to head home and see how things are going in Edinburgh. So how was it? What was your score?
I've got 78.
Yes! Glasgow to 80.
actually got bored quite quickly. It took me maybe... What are you doing here? Most of the museum is just... Location. I can.
A cosy place to be. Lots of I'm kind of happy actually because I think Glasgow's better.
Glasgow's better. I always think Glasgow's better.
Say something.
Say something. Location, 9 out of 10.
It's kind of hard and maybe a little bit unfair to compare the two galleries because
The building is very impressive. Is it?